I pretend I'm in control, just like the seasons. You're taking the time from me, but hello, 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 my lock loves. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hit that subscribe button and join the Lock Love crew. I have another micro lock install update. Well, just install video, but this is on someone who already had micro locks. I don't know if I have a video like this. So let's get into it. So just to give a background, she actually had her micro locks installed the interlock way. And here are my micro lock extensions. I have a video on how to make these extensions, but these extensions are what we're working with. And please excuse me, throughout the entire video, there's going to be different lightings and different settings that are weird. But yeah, here are what the extensions look like. And when I tell you, when I put these in her hair, you're going to say, what extensions? Yes, that's the point. So here are the extensions. And as you can see, I started working on her hair before filming, and you can see what her hair looks like. And on the right side is, of course, the extension hair. And she's getting a good amount of length, about 8 to 9 inches added. And what I like to do is when I get the extensions, I like to look for one that matches her density already. And since this one was fluffy, you can see when I twist it, this is what it will look like once it's actually installed. And so this will be the lock extension that I will put on this lock here. And what I do is I use the crochet hook to add the extensions right where her hair is locked and right where her hair is like loose, if that makes sense. Like she has about 3 inches of locked hair, and so I put the extension right underneath where it's locked and unlocked. You all are going to get a closer view, trust me, don't worry about that. So I like to put the extension in, and I'm just going to show you what you shouldn't do. You should not braid the extensions with a lot of locked hair like that. You see, it's that big chunky braid. No, you want to move it closer to the edge, and even at the very beginning, this will still be a very thick braid, so you don't want that. What I like to do is I like to take it at the very tippy end. That's not a word, but the very end where it's the thinnest part of the extension, and I like to braid the extension ends to her hair. So that braid is a way to make sure it doesn't slip out. And also I'm going to interlock her hair into the extension hair. So again, you are going to get a close-up of this, but I want to give you the full view first. And so the first thing I do is braid it in, and then now I'm going to interlock using a interlocking needle. And I start at her ends, and I'm going to interlock it into the extension hair. And I stretch her hair down, so while I'm interlocking, it's like flat with the extension hair. I don't know about y'all, but I don't know how to explain nothing. So hopefully the visuals are good. But I'm going to continue meshing and interlocking her hair into the extension hair. And I'm just about done going all the way up to the braid. Sometimes I even interlock where I braided just to add that extra assurance. And what I say, what extension? What extension? Yes. Let's go ahead, and I'm over here tugging it just to give y'all, let y'all see this ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. And the longer your hair is, the more you get to interlock into the extension, the better. So here is just another view of the extension hair on the right and her natural hair on the left. And I just wanted to show you guys how long she got her extensions. It's really not long like on her, but it's long compared to what she currently has. All right, so let's get into the close-up. Yes, again, I'm going to take one of her locks, and these over here are pretty tiny. I would even say they might be the size of large sister locks, or a little bit larger than the large size sister locks. But yeah, here is a thicker size one that I'm going to work with, because those small ones, I have to do something else with those. So again, I'm going to go ahead and crochet the ends of the extension hair into her natural locks. And I like to crochet right where the point is, where it is locked and it is loose, if that makes sense. So I'm just want to show you the size comparison, because this is a pretty good size to try to add on. Take that crochet hook and get those ends through. See, I'm feeling where her locked hair is. That's where I want to add it. So she actually gets a lot of length coming from her natural hair, because a lot of that was already locked. And just to show you, I like to pull the entire extension through the hole, just to make sure I got all the extension hair in. But you do not braid at that point. You do not braid at this point. You braid at when the hair is extremely thin, so that the braid is extremely thin on her natural hair. And I usually braid all the way down until that thin part can't braid no longer. And you see there's a little small amount of her natural hair left. And that is what I'm going to interlock into the extension. So I'm going to pull her ends down. That's the loose hair that I was talking about. That's not all the way locked. And I'm going to pull that down and interlock it in. A lot of people have issues with putting the hair into the needle. I usually just fold it and put it through. I do it so much, it's simple to me, but I can understand how it can be difficult. And I'm going to go ahead and interlock her natural hair into the extension hair. Every single time I go through the extension, I'm going through her natural hair too. That is what's combining them together. Extremely important note, when you interlock in general, you want to interlock at the middle of the lock. So just like I'm showing you, when I flip the needle on both sides, there is equal amounts of hair on both sides. That means you are in the middle of the lock. You don't want to interlock small little tiny pieces of hair, because that it just won't work out. Also, anytime you interlock, you want to pull the hair all the way through. Don't create knots by not pulling the hair all the way through, especially at the root of the hair. When you're interlocking someone's roots, make sure that lock goes all the way through. Right here is actually an example of a lock that didn't go all the way through, or me not pulling all the way through. And there is like a knot right there. And so actually that wasn't a knot, it was like a bubble. But I went through the bubble, and now I'm having difficulties pulling it all the way through. So there is the knot. So, you know, I'm able to push the knot through. But when you don't interlock all the way through, and that person's hair locks up, it's going to have a knot that you can't really fix. So just keep that in mind. But here is the extension, and say it with me. What extension? Okay, you can't tell me this don't look like her hair. Like, she had the perfect texture, size, everything. So I'm just gonna shut up and let y'all see how I do this in real time, and you know, enjoy. So real quick, I want to show you guys what I do with small locks. I can't make locks that are super tiny like the Sister Lock size or extra small. Some people can. I can't. And so what I do with those is basically I crochet some extension hair into it, real flat, and I just do a braid. So her perimeter area is mostly braided around while the extension area is on the majority of her hair. So I'm taking just a normal Afro Kinky bulk hair that I use, and I'm going to crochet that in, braid it all the way down to the length of the extension hair. And over time, that braid is going to start locking up and become a lock and look uniform to the rest of her hair. But to be honest with you, when you have like 90% extension hair and 10% of the braided hair, it blends in just fine. I never had anyone complain that their perimeter was braided. So just like before, I go right before that hair turns loose. And I'm making this hair as thin as I can and braiding down. I want this braid to be as flat as possible on her natural hair, because when you have a tiny lock, first you want to have the least amount of weight on the hair, and also I don't want that added hair part to be thick. When it comes to adding length to a braid, I highly suggest studying knotless braids, because I pretty much use that technique of using a thin amount of hair and adding it to like the bottom of the braid. I I've learned how to do this way before knotless braids came out, but that is a great example to for you all to learn that technique. Is just watch the million videos of knotless braids and learn how to add hair thinly. You want the braid to be flat and seamless. You don't want to see where you added the length. So study those videos and that will help. And here is her side section that is mixed with braids and extension hair. I wanted to keep those two together so you can see the difference between the two. But that is it, you all. I'm not going to lie to you. It took us 12 hours. I did it in one day. So we don't have any after pictures, but I hope the instructions were clear. And until the next video, y'all have a great one.